In 1030, Harald Sigurdsson fled Norway as a defeated teenage prince. Years later, he returned from the richest empire in Europe with battle experience, powerful connections, and a fortune large enough to change his political future. Harald's escape carried him east through the world of Kievan Rus. There, he entered the orbit of Prince Yaroslav before continuing toward Constantinople. Compared with the small settlements of Scandinavia, this was another universe. Monumental walls, crowded harbors, imperial palaces, international merchants, and an economy capable of rewarding elite soldiers with extraordinary wealth. Harald joined the Byzantine military world associated with the Varangian Guard, the emperor's famous northern fighting force. Over roughly a decade, sources connect him with campaigns stretching across the Mediterranean and southeastern Europe. This was not ordinary Viking raiding. Harald was learning inside one of the medieval world's most sophisticated states, seeing imperial logistics, taxation, professional soldiers, fortified cities, and military campaigns operating on a scale far beyond Norway. And Harald became rich. Medieval traditions associate his fortune with years of military service, rewards, and spoils. Whatever its exact size, and we simply don't know, the evidence supports one crucial point. Harald returned north possessing exceptional resources. Later, Norse accounts claim Harald repeatedly sent wealth to Yaroslav for safekeeping. Whether every detail of those stories is literal or embellished, their message is unmistakable. Around 1045, Harald returned to Scandinavia. He was no longer simply Olaf's younger half-brother. He was an experienced commander with prestige, followers, and portable wealth, exactly the resources an ambitious claimant needed. Viking Age politics already depended heavily on wealth. Powerful leaders rewarded followers with silver, weapons, feasts, and gifts. Loyalty was personal, and maintaining it could be expensive. Harald initially shared power with his nephew, Magnus the Good, before becoming sole king after Magnus died in 1047. During Harald's reign, Norway saw a stronger royal monetary system. Foreign coins had long circulated there, but Harald became closely associated with establishing and expanding Norwegian national coinage. That transition mattered. Scandinavians had long valued precious metal by weight. Coinage offered kings something different, money carrying royal authority, produced through a royal system. Harald's Norway was becoming more centralized, monetized, and unmistakably medieval. Harald's ambitions did not stop at Norway. For years, he fought King Svein Estridsson for Denmark. Fleets raided coastlines, towns were attacked, and control of Scandinavia remained fiercely contested. The Danish campaigns revealed the limit of the treasure theory. Harald was wealthy, but medieval war depended on ships, manpower, local alliances, supplies, and political legitimacy. Then, in 1066, England entered a succession crisis. Harald claimed the English crown and allied with Tostig Godwinson, brother of England's new King Harald. The veteran who had crossed half the medieval world prepared his greatest gamble. The scale was enormous. Contemporary and later sources differ slightly, but Harald's invasion fleet is generally described at around 300 ships or more. This was not a raiding party, it was an expedition intended to conquer a kingdom. Harald's army moved toward York and defeated the northern English forces at Fulford. For a moment, the gamble appeared to be working. One of Europe's most experienced commanders had landed successfully and broken the first army sent against him. York submitted, and Harald arranged to receive hostages and supplies. He was now operating deep inside England, with a giant fleet behind him and one of the country's most important northern cities temporarily under his control. Then everything collapsed. On September 25th, King Harald Godwinson struck Harald's forces at Stamford Bridge. The Norwegian king was killed, Tostig died with him, and the invasion army was shattered. The scale of the disaster became legendary. Sources say the invasion had arrived in roughly 300 ships, yet only a tiny fraction were required to carry the survivors home. So did Harald's Byzantine treasure reshape Europe? Not by itself. It did something subtler. It helped transform a penniless exile into a credible king at exactly the moment Scandinavian rulers were strengthening monarchies, minting coins, and commanding larger military systems. Harald is often called the last great Viking king. But his story is more interesting than the legend. He connected Constantinople, Kiev, Scandinavia, and England, and showed how the Viking world was becoming part of a new Europe built around kingdoms, money, and organized royal power.